Honestly, mate, I just don't want to be lied to anymore. Like, I just want a straight answer, right? How big's Batista's dick?
When Baron Corbin inevitably wins the King of the Ring tournament, someone, and it doesn't matter who, it never matters who, because everyone talks in the same way and no one can distinguish themselves. Maybe it's going to be Ricochet. Ricochet is going to say to Baron Corbin, "Your new King of the Ring, you might call yourself the King of the Ring, Baron, but I think you're more of a jester." Scripted promos, for God's sake. How many people are on this Talking Heads video? 9? We'll just say all 9 of them. All 9 should say scripted promos, because literally everybody, seemingly except Vince McMahon, knows they're poison to getting a performer over. And this isn't just a subjective thing. As I said, literally everyone, I've never met anyone who said, "Oh, I think the scripted promos are good. I think they're not lame. I think they're not completely toxic to the growth of a performer." Like, it is an objective fact, right? In 2019, everything's down. Like, house show attendance, ratings, absolutely everything. And it's been this way for absolutely forever. I know they're financed by Fox and the Saudis' blood money. I know this is true. But if you look at how many people, not corporations, how many people are putting money into that company, it's almost at an all-time low. Almost. And you can trace all of this back to when Stephanie McMahon took over creative and decided, oh, they need scripted promos because we know best, we're the McMahons. If you go to that direct point, like late 2001, early 2002, and look at where WWE was then to where it is now, you can trace everything back to when they decided to do scripted promos. Get rid of them. They're pathetic. That's everything. That's all.
If I could change one thing in wrestling, I think, debated over this, I think it's going to have to be that people in NXT don't have to go to the main roster. I think that's my thing. Or just, I don't know if I want them to be trapped in there forever. I don't think I've come up with a better solution yet. I just don't want them to have to, I would like them to be able to say no, actually, is what I think I'm getting at. We kind of had a little bit of this with Tommaso Ciampa, who said it in a recent interview, where he was like, I don't want to go to the main roster. If, I'll say no if I get the chance to. I got a feeling it's not got anything to do with him. But I am sick and tired of people taking the thing I love so very dearly. People being Vince McMahon, of course. That's who people are. Taking all my favourite toys from my pram, taking them up to the main roster, and then just doing absolutely nothing with them. Adam Wilborn was watching a video the other day about the 25 best moments in NXT, and you think about all the great things that happen in there, and all the people who were part of them, who are now on the main roster, have been done the dirty on the main roster by Vince or by booking or whatever it is. Pretty much everyone has gone down the pan. They have something so organic there, and I just hate this notion that, right, it gets to like 1 year or 2 years and they have to go up. Like, that's what's done around here. You go up. I would like to be able to think that they would get an option from this point moving forward and just be like, yeah, if you don't want to come up, you don't have to come up, because you've got a good thing going down there in NXT, and ultimately that would make the product more exciting, and you could come up when you see fit. And obviously, if they thought you weren't ready to go up, then fair enough, you don't get to go up. But I just hate people taking me NXT wrestlers. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And I'm terrified for Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era. God damn it. Yes, if I could change one thing in wrestling, keep your hands off my NXT.
Get rid of opening promos to start wrestling shows.
Yes!
Completely.
Yeah, boy.
It's been done absolutely to death over the years. And it's so boring. It's just the most predictable thing ever. Someone starts in the ring, they start going, oh no, I'm unhappy. And then someone comes out and interrupts and goes, well, you're crap. And then they have a fight later on. And that's it for every single goddamn show. They need to do something else. Either start with a match, get a bit of action, a bit of excitement to open the show. Start backstage, start literally anywhere else. Just do something different, because this is old, it's stale, and it's just boring.
bloat, everything's too damn long. Everything is too damn long. Now, that's obviously a blanket statement. I don't mean every single thing is too damn long. And it's not necessarily a shot at every single long-ass show or long-ass match. Hell, Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, 2 out of 3 falls match. Something like 70 minutes long, and it's one of my favorites of all time, but it's all contextual. Not every long match or show is good. Not every long match or show is bad, and increasingly in 2019 especially, it's becoming really laborious. So everyone who's currently in this room, all 3 of us, was in the building, fortunate enough to be in the building for WrestleMania 35. If you go and have a look at the network runtime for that show and combine it with the kickoff show, runs to about 7.5 hours. That's too damn long, right? I don't care how many quality matches or great moments you have spread out across this whole thing. It's an absolute marathon. It's a day's work. It's a shift down the factory, a shift down the content house right here. And it's mental. And I think it shows that the crowd reaction for Kofi Kingston winning the world title halfway through that show, amazing, incredible. Didn't recover at all. When Becky Lynch won the title, there was a pop. But it wasn't anything like what it should have been in the main event, because objectively, that shows that the show is too goddamn long. We have this relentless pursuit for epicness that just can never be sated. Look at SummerSlam. Main card was something like 3.5 hours. Perfect. We don't need anything more than that. We don't need these 5-6 hour shows. And the problem applies to New Japan as well, by the way. I'm not just singling out WWE. AEW is another one. Fight for the Fallen was at least 1.5 hours too long. And it's just, there's so much fat on these goddamn things.
Well, no prizes for guessing this one. Just get rid of Stephanie McMahon. I don't want her anywhere near my wrestling. You can probably guess this from all the work that I do on this channel, where I call her a literal she-devil. She is a curse upon wrestling. And I'm not just talking about the recent incarnation of Stephanie McMahon, but we were talking about this in the office earlier. When Stephanie McMahon took over creative, that is where, strangely enough, things went because she's just the worst. She picks the worst option in every scenario, and as much as, you know, you may get pissed off about the way Vince McMahon handles things, he's had flashes of brilliance in there. You may get annoyed that Shane McMahon is getting far too much TV time, but at least he's not Steph, because Steph goes out there, she emasculates every single wrestler, and she never gets her comeuppance. She's had what? A couple of arm bars around WrestleMania from Ronda Rousey, which I gleefully watch on a weekly basis, but that's it. She just goes out there, makes everyone else look worse, and then goes, well, guess that's my day done. It's dreadful. She is a curse upon modern wrestling, and she needs to be erased from history.
Well, it would have to be the themed pay-per-views. Now, sure, Royal Rumble is amazing. Like, we all sit there, apart from this year where it was like 7,000 hours long. But, like, go back to Andy's and just hear about his bloat thing there. But I would have to say that, come on, what were they thinking when they started doing this back in 2010? We're like, everything has to have a gimmick. Fatal 4-way. Remember that legendary match where, I think Sheamus won, I don't know. But seriously, after that, we had Hell in a Cell, which they've watered down and ruined pretty much one of the...
painted.
Yes, I mean, the painted thing is that's actually okay now, but they've just ruined it. Like,
not.
I don't look forward to it anymore. I don't watch it. I have to watch every Hell in a Cell because they're going to be a banger. And like, we had the surprise one at WrestleMania twice in like recent years. Apart from that, it's like, there we are. Elimination Chamber, like again, when it either popped up on a SummerSlam or sort of Survivor Series, that was great because you knew this was building up to a feud where it's going to end it or it's going to be a bridge to something new. Like this, at the moment we got Kofi and Keith, and we know that that's going to go from SummerSlam. It's like, oh, I was sitting there with Hamlet the other day watching it going, oh yeah, this is going to go into Hell in a Cell probably and be pretty good. And he was like, Clash of Champions is before that. It's like, oh. And they need these two to build to a Hell in a Cell because who are you going to put in there otherwise? Baron Corbin and like Jimmy Uso? No. so yes, kill them off, keep Royal Rumble, and like no one wants a TLC themed pay-per-view, boring, apart from you, unless you got a big giant Big Show steel chair or Big Show steps, boring.
The one wrestling thing that I would change would be to get rid of authority figures completely.
Not just no general managers, not just Vince McMahon not coming out willy-nilly, not just Linda McMahon occasionally CEO when she's not working for Donald Trump. No authority figures whatsoever. When I got into wrestling in 1990, when it was better, there was no authority figures whatsoever other than Jack Tunney sitting in a stuffy little office, very occasionally asked for his decision on a contract or something like that. You didn't have the Ultimate Warrior running to the ring as fast as he could at 100 miles an hour with a belt round his waist and then stopping and cutting a promo and saying, "Can I have a match please, boss?" I don't want my wrestlers to be like me. I want them to be escape from my life. I want them to be larger than life. I don't want them to kowtow to Stephanie McMahon or Shane McMahon or Paige or anybody like that. Even Daniel Bryan, when he wears his little corduroy trousers and things like that, he's the worst version of himself. Authority figures have done away with the universe of pro wrestling being about superstars and larger than life figures that we all either aspire to be or love or hate. They're just people getting in line to ask for things like they're taking a ticket at the deli counter or something like that. I don't want any authority figures. I don't want shows starting with authority figures laying out the matches. I don't want people coming out with clipboards and saying, right, who's going to be next, who's going to be next. I just want to see big angry men and women fight other big angry men and women because it's their job, because that's why they're there in the first place, because occasionally, and this one's just for Jim Cornette, it is still pretending to be a sport. That's what I like. I just don't need them to have a boss.
What one thing would I change about wrestling, or more specifically WWE? Well, there's loads, right? Scripted promos and 50-50 booking and everything like that, but I want to focus on something that's a bit more specific, because I really miss having unique sets when it comes to pay-per-views, right? Like, it seems like such a redundant thing. When you do get pay-per-views month after month after month and they look exactly the same, you get a bit bored. Remember Backlash? Backlash used to have like knives swinging around. That makes no sense, but hey ho, we may as well do it anyway. And that kind of ties in with Pyro and Titantron as well. You used to have a superstar come out, or wrestler I should say, we're not using WWE terminology here, and there'd be explosions and there would, you know, on the video, on the screens, you get an idea of who the wrestler was. Whereas now, you just get their logo or their name flashing around. And I understand it is a certain corporate machine-like mentality to it. But yeah, I miss being able to watch an event and know that I'm watching something special. Obviously the eyes are the first thing that interact with that. Like the Evolution pay-per-view last year. The Evolution pay-per-view was so cool because they designed it and they dressed it up like a house show. So it didn't feel like Raw, it didn't feel like SmackDown, it didn't feel like a WWE pay-per-view. It felt like I was watching something new, something unique, and something special. I mean, WrestleMania has that, and I think SummerSlam, that obviously when I'm doing this happened but a few weeks ago, that's when I really noticed it, because in my head, SummerSlam's a really big deal, and it was just Raw, and it was just SmackDown. The Royal Rumble got away with it in 2019 too, because it was held in a baseball stadium, but now that's all come together to make me go, we need to start having more unique and gimmicked sets. So that's what I want, and Repo Man to come back. It's as simple as that. That's not really changing anything. I've gone off on a tangent, but now you know my thoughts.
Personally, I would change the automatic championship rematch clause that WWE have. I would get rid of it. Actually, wait, no, I'm saying that. Yeah, no, that's right, isn't it? Me and Sidgwick, we already did the article and the video on this, but we said they should bin that off because it's rubbish. We did that. We actually did the video and then they put it into actual company policy like less than a month after we already changed that. We actually fixed that one. We actually, already did that one. Yeah. Tell you what though, it's enforced about as consistently as the goddamn wellness policy, isn't it? But still we made our point, and yeah, we did that one, so whoosh. You're welcome.
Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture, and if you're a fan of what you've just seen, then make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts for daily wrestling podcasts, where we not only review Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, we also discuss the events before and after of pay-per-views. We have roundtable discussions discussing burning wrestling issues, interviews, and a roundup of the week, complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. Thanks for watching. I've been Adam from WhatCulture, and I'll see you soon.